It has been a while since we had the opportunity to talk to this man. What a privilege, what a pleasure it is to see Nick Diaz once again. It has been several years since you sat down and talked to me, Nick. I really appreciate the time this evening. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, it's been a long time. The former Strikeforce and WEC welterweight champion, one of the greatest of all time. Fans were so happy to see you.
I'm actually have had a pretty rough week.
Okay.
Actually, but I guess you can imagine if you could. It's crazy because like I do, like you were saying, we had all the thing and all the fight and all this stuff. But people were like, oh yeah, I'm happy, cause my guy had me set up, some really good seats and everything. But you know what I mean? I usually try to like stay focused on what is important to me during these times, especially when I got this magnitude of what was what. So I'm like telling these guys in the back, like, yo, I'm happy to be here. Cool. I gotta go and say hi to everybody, which I love to do, and deal with everybody wondering what, looking at me, right? But then my brother's fighting, so I'm like, okay, well, as long as you don't have me out here for my my brother, my brother's fight, it's like you got President Trump there, and then you have all this security and like serious security though that gives me a little anxiety. You know what I mean? Extra, especially when I feel like if at this type of a show that I run, I'm like, I don't have to deal with, especially at this point in time in my life, I don't have to deal with nobody. But you know what I mean? Like, my level of respect towards what was really going on there was like, so it just makes me nervous because like my normal mentality, I had to like take it back a notch, but I really had to be a part of what was going on too. So that was a stressful day, and I knew I was never going to be able to deal with that day if I planned for it. Mm-hmm. So when I had the opportunity, I just kind of like, went with the flow, and I had to tell them like, yo, I know it's not, it's not cool to be. I can feel like the level of intensity that was there, not just because of the fight, but because of the extra, And I was like, I can't just be up and moving around and walking like I do or I have to, you know what I mean? Like out here. And so like my sense of security goes through the roof. But I had to go like into that situation like with the opportunity, to be a part of the whole thing. And it was it's just really not my thing to be responsible for everybody else but my team and myself. So that was really putting us like in jeopardy, a little bit, and especially me too, because I was trying to definitely get the most out of it for both of us, and for for Nick Diaz Academy, and for Gracie Fighter and my team. Shields and Jake and everybody, on Team Gang. So, yeah, I had a rough week. So when I say, I like to start off anything with no BS, because I learned, like, being full of shit always comes back to get you in the end. So you might as well just be transparent. I've had no problem doing that from the very beginning. You know me, like, I'm just like, I didn't have any room to have an ulterior motive. I got started like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy, he fought my brother, and, all due respect, this guy was like 205 fighting in the backyard with, and with all due respect, you know what I mean? Like, Kimbo Slice was a friend of mine too, but you know what I mean? Like, I was doing this backyard stuff way before, everybody knew who Kimbo Slice was, because he was doing, and I was doing the YouTube stuff too. I was well aware of it. I'm like Joe Rogan. I'm way ahead of you. You know what I mean? What can I tell you? You know what I mean? Like, everybody's like, oh, and I'm like, all due respect to Joe and everybody, and you know, you as well, especially, you know what I mean, for giving me the platform. But I mean, you know, I'm like, you know, all those people, all them people that come out on Joe Rogan podcast, like those are all the while everybody else was focused on like what was hot or what are you supposed to be wearing, or like, you know, I had a stay-at-home girlfriend, and I was like, you know, 3 to 5 fights a year or something for 17 years. All I was doing was wait, what am I gonna eat? You never, you know, after a while you realize there's more to life, but you don't realize that until they, you know, they take the gun out of your face, and then you can go ahead and start to think like a normal person. So really, like, I've had like a good couple of time off, and I'm like, I don't want to be hateful or grateful over the suspension I went through, because I served it anyways, and the verdict was like, you know, I'm not the bad guy in the end. So like, I'm like, what the fuck is the problem? You know, I get accused, same thing. The only time it was a problem was the first time. And the first time, like, since then, it turned from 50 nanogram to 150 nanogram because of me. And then from 150 nanogram, it went up. And I've never tested over 175 nanogram as far as I'm concerned. Those were, then, you know, I'm not good with numbers, but those are the numbers I can recognize, you know. I've never had time to be good with numbers or small talk, or, you know, what the happy hour, you know. But like, once they gave me a break, you know, so did everybody else around me that was, you know, important to me. But I had to give them a break too, and I had to make, you know, a little bit of a separation before I could paint a picture. But I got a lot done. I'm like, and I did it exactly what I was supposed to be doing, just the way I should have been doing it at the exact right time. So, you know, and looking back, I'm like, I made no mistakes. Like, I never have. I can tell you paint you the picture, tell you the story, no problem, of course. I mean, of course, that's just because that's what it is. You know.
Can I ask?
And I meet people now, and I meet, like, you know what I mean? I meet people now, I meet girls. I'm like, there's no reason to lie or fake, you know, or have, like, I mean, I'll just tell you straight up, because I didn't do nothing wrong. You know what I mean? So, and I'm always the bad guy, negative light, dark cloud. Oh, sorry, sorry you lost the fight. Oh, because I didn't show up to a press? I didn't do, what are you talking about? Like, people on my team wasn't gonna elaborate that this was a must. You know what I mean? Like, cause, you know what I mean? Like, if I wasn't paying them, then they probably wasn't getting paid, and then I was missing out on paper. And, you know what I mean? The Ultimate Fighting Championships, they didn't have the platform to produce these numbers and funds that I needed. You know what I mean? They didn't have that to do what they needed to do with the platform that I built for them. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, me and the rest of these guys that, you know, like, what about Jens Pulver? You know what I mean? I can start dropping names. I mean, look at, like, you know who's someone who I thought was going to do really well, and I'm not to, like, you know, say that they're not doing well. I'm like, I don't know what's going on in their life if they're not doing well or not. But look at, like, you know, Bonner and Griffin. I'm going, like, they're, like, you know, pushing me to sign to do this show while Bonner and Griffin is like, they're telling me they're promising these guys, like, I guess these guys are going to do real well. Real well as in what? You know? Then the Irish boy comes out here, like, brings the whole country with him, and then now, you know, he's going to make paper because of numbers. Okay, I get it. You know? Nothing to take. That's why, you know, I don't take nothing away from that guy. I mean, he got plenty to give, you know? but I mean, look, you know, it's just, like I said, but, you know, I worked to build this platform. I ain't done nothing wrong. I did everything I was supposed to do to win. You know what I mean? But anyways.
Can I ask
you? You can get after, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously we covered a lot there. I was just curious, since you brought up, you know, the fight Saturday night off the bat, what did you think of the fight itself and, of course, the controversial stoppage. How did you feel about it?
Well, I mean, well, it's my brother, so I hope they stop anything. Like, you know, I mean, and then the thing is with my brother, I mean, like I had a hard time dealing with this because of what I was dealing with, and he's my little brother. I'm gonna ask him, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, I got stuff to deal with, and the thing is they had me on the poster to fight this guy a while ago, and I don't even know why.
Masvidal.
Yeah, I don't even know why. I don't know how that happened. You know what I mean? I got people running at me left and right talking about this and that. I'm like, yeah. Elaborating a little bit, but I don't even know why. I went up on a poster with this guy. I'm like, ain't no what, you know when you talk to me? Like, what? What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
The story
like,
came out like late last year that you were fighting him in March.
Bro, I mean, I'm on a poster.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, what the? Come on. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's cool if I'm gonna be fighting this guy. Look, why are you doing this to me? Like, you know, you're just giving this advantage and like giving more power to the opposite team. You know what I mean? No offense to the opposite team, but I'm like, let's just play fair a little bit here. And you know, they always push me, hit me on, oh, let's not, you know, negotiate through the media, blah 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 blah. And then when someone does, it's the right thing to do. And I didn't give a fuck, so I did. And then wound up the right thing to do. Then, you know, people copy me. I mean, like, I wrote the book, and I was just being honest, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I've been no lies. Like, wow, how am I gonna lie to all these people? You know, I'm like just pushing facts. It just sounded like gibberish when I was a kid because, like, you know, I might still sound like some type of thug life. That's why I get nervous about. Come on, Ruth, you look at your little collar and little thing. Yeah, I know to bring you if I go out, you know, somewhere. Now I know that now, though. I know now. I'm like, why, you know, bring Ariel out, like, you know, have a few drinks with him and like, tell him, hey, can you please, like, you know.
But it's the same stuff since the beginning.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna put that look. I'm from Stockton.
Yeah.
So, right, but you don't understand what that's all about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I said. Like, after a while, you realize there's more to life. Like, you know, I was I was a little bit held down, like, by this whole thing. And not because I was a fanatic, though. That's why I can still, you know, stand my ground on the outside of the cage, because it's like, look, okay, all this happened though, but I'm not a fanatic like these people are that want to be around me or be like trying to be what I, you know, and talk to me about that. I'm like, this is like, you know, I was done being a fanatic like once I started getting in trouble, and I realized like, well, okay, well, I better go pro, because I'm not, you know, I didn't do so well in school. I'm like, oh, these guys are, and then that's what really gets me too, is because, you know, a lot of these guys are a college wrestler, high D1, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I wrestled too, but I got in fights in high school, so I couldn't wrestle, and I couldn't make attendance, and I didn't want to make attendance because they got out to get me, because, you know what I mean? Like, I had a whole, like I said, everything I did was exactly what I had to do, and I did it for exactly the right reasons. And anything that I did, I learned from, but it was because, like, you know, of my own ignorance as to what, because, you know, I didn't have no one, my dad wasn't around like that, you know what I mean? He was at the same time, like, on a kind of just, you know, ups and downs in life, he was doing what he had to do, so it's not like I had guidance, you know what I mean? That's the thing about my brother. I knew, you know, it's hard, you know what I mean? Like, to watch my brother to go into this thing when I wasn't, like, a part of the whole system. But, you know, like I said, it's about communication, you know what I mean? Like, at some point in time, like, you know what I mean, there's ups and downs in life and with everybody. And, you know what I mean? It's all about communication. So, you know, let that be a lesson to you, you know? And that's what I'm saying. It's not nothing against him. Like, that's my baby brother. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that's, like, the BMF, the 107, that's my belt. But I'm not going to get in my brother's way of taking it. You know what I mean? I'm like, as far as I'm concerned, that's my belt. I'm like, you just fought my baby brother. You know what I mean? And the reason why I say that, I'm like, he ain't got nothing to be mad about. Like, he ain't tripping. Like, you know, trust me. Like, we never skipped a beat. Like, you know, I have ups and downs with everybody, but I ain't got ups with nobody. I mean, you know, with everybody, but never my younger brother. You know what I mean? We don't have that issue. We've been through hardly any of that issue enough to know that that's not what we need. And you know what I mean? Like there was a day I knew he got it. I knew he had it from the beginning. That's why I didn't mean to drag him into this, and I never pulled him or asked him to, but he just kind of naturally followed along, and that's why I thought it was funny when he started, like, you see these old clips of him people up when he was like, you know, 15 years old and shit, like in a pair of Valley Tudo shorts, like beating up like 40-year-old dudes, and I'm like, I know I do that. I know I can do that when I was, you know, 15 and 16, but I didn't know, like, he was just kind of like, you know, but that's what I'm saying. This was my baby brother. I mean, I've been showed him everything that he knows since, you know, as soon as I learned it, when I learned it, and that was after me being started fighting fighting pro and training jiu-jitsu 3 years before he even started. All of a sudden, he's fighting in these IFCs that I used to fight in, and I'm like, I can't believe this little guy. And what I saw in this last ordeal, I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm like, this isn't going good for us. And of course, I didn't go out there because I would have been acting a fool, like in the middle of and I'm not gonna run no corner because you don't do that.
Why not?
Because well, if you don't work no corners if we're not intimately like in tune with like what every day. Like, there could be secrets that like things that he doesn't want them to let me know, and I don't know about it. These are things that like you start to understand after a long time. Like for example, like when they took me out of the corner, when I really should have been in the corner because I was suspended for these last 5 years while I've had this dark cloud over my head when I didn't even really do anything wrong. I never tested over the limit. And then they had to elaborate on that. And these guys come back and these weird extra crew come back and try to get you to piece so they could take this and then say that it tested 7 times high. Just so, if I gotta just say, well, I'm not good, I already peed for them, so I'm not peeing for you, then I bet you anything that they wouldn't have been able to do that to me. So that's how I see it. I don't know how y'all, I don't know who sees how it is, but that's how I feel. And usually I'm right. I've been right so much. And then all the times I'm wrong, I'm like, gee, I was right. So I'm like, and that's what I'm saying. Like I said, that was, I'm right about that too. That's my baby brother. That's my BMF belt at 170 pounds. Like, I'm like, where are you gonna move out? I don't even know, like, okay, if I have Conor McGregor, and doing this, and I'm like, well, like I said, the pawns go first in chess. You go fight this guy. Nobody even thought my brother was gonna beat Conor McGregor, and I'm like, that's a joke. Like, we all knew my little brother was gonna beat Conor McGregor, like that, and he beat him twice. Give me a break. He beat him twice, And then I gotta watch him taking like, foot to the face. Like, that was a hard time. You know what I mean? But like, look, let that be a lesson to you. I don't give a what. Like, you know what I mean? Learn the hard way. He will. I did. I had to. You know what I mean? Ask somebody. Like, you know what I mean? And this is a simple conversation, But that shit, sometimes it's harder than a 5-round fight. You know what I mean? When you're coming out of the hole. You know what I mean? And I don't care if I have to crawl back into that hole to crawl back out of that mother again. So it ain't on me. You know what I mean? Like, whatever I gotta do. You know what I mean? To do the right. But as far as how it's gone, like people offer me a little fight here and there. I'm like, pfft. I already know what would have happened to that poor man. Like look, I have no business in that man's life. Okay? Like, you earn the right to fight the baddest mother. The pawns go first. And that's all I have to say about that.
I think the question that everyone wants to know is, do you want to fight? Do you want to resume your career?
Absolutely not. It's not up to me, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, do you want some? Do you want some? Because, like, you can get it. I mean, generally, I go in and I show somebody their life. It's up to them whether they want to deal with their, you know what I mean? Like, and that's just what I do. That's my job. It's been that way because I was doing that to people when I was 15 years old to get them to come with me when I was going to deal with, like, because I've been doing karate when I was a little baby, little kid, you know, karate chop. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I was a real karate kid. You know, I took it hard, and I'm like, I did everything right. And now that you have this legalizations and you have this, all these things happen in all during what I was going through on account of, like, you know, step by step, like I'm getting a bar raised up on the edge. Now you have fighters that can smoke weed like all the way till like the day before or like the day of. Because you got the nanogram level raised so high because me and then after me so many people, not only do these people learn how that I fight and how I got through it, they learn how I do it. You know what I mean? And that's why I had to start Nick Diaz Academy. And that's why I'm branching it, and that's another reason why I couldn't just run around and come back and be a part of this camp when, you know, like I said, ups and downs in life, you know, it's sad, you can't feel sorry for people. I tell these white belts to turn blue belts all the time, I'm like, you know, look, sorry that you didn't make it this year, or didn't make it this time around, I'm sorry that, like, today you don't get a blue belt. You know what I mean? Like, this is not your big week, but we don't, I mean, like, hey, if you don't get with the program, bro, like, then you're not gonna move forward. Because I was definitely not gonna move forward in life unless I, like, did something. You know what I mean? And I definitely wasn't gonna make it to school when I was punching kids and cutting their face in school. It's hard like being a fighter, but it should be, you know. But at least I had some sense of security when it came to learning, you know, martial arts. But, and as far as my brother, my brother asked me my brother asked me to take this fight if they'll give it to me. And I said, like, well then, I'm not, like, you know, I'm not begging for no fights. I don't give a I'm just saying it's on you. That's on you, bro. Because, I mean, you already put me on the poster. You know, put me on the poster. And then, you know, whether it was, you know, I ain't blaming nobody, but, you know what I mean? It's like, we're already, so you obviously already accepted the fight, so I said to him, fight now. So, and then the UFC, I'm like, you know there's more money in this? I'm like, hell, you want to do something big? Do it at Cowboy Stadium. You got Canelos and all these other big fights happening at Cowboy Stadiums. I'm like, biggest thing I did was, as far as I'm concerned, was UNLV. That seemed like a really big place. It was like, then the Japan arenas I used to fight in back in the day before the UFC monopolized it. You know, bought the damn pride up and threw the rules away so people could stall and run away. And then you got, like, all these jock boys, oh, I should be a UFC fighter now because I could run and take them down and then stall and run away. And then when I get big, then I could do it for 5 rounds. It'll be the ultimate shape of my life when I do the most steroids. Now they're testing you for steroids, buddy. Like, come at me, bro. Like, you don't even know. Everybody I've ever fought has been on steroids. Everybody. And then my brother, did you hear that shit? I'm like, what kind of whack shit, negative vibes did they put in that guy? He could have done that shit without me.
Is there a part of you that sees your brother for the longest time was, you know, Nick's younger brother, sort of in your shadows, now become one of the biggest stars in the sport? Do you take pride in that? Are you happy to see him become such a big star? He's beloved.
Yeah. That's one of the last things somebody said to me was, you know, that's great, you know, like, look. So they're like, that's great, yeah, now your brother has everything you ever wanted and you have nothing. And I said, good.
That's not what I meant.
I meant that. And that means that means everything to me, so that's what you meant and that's what I meant. Like that, of course, that means everything to me. You know what I mean? That's what you said, right? Like, oh, does that make you happy? Does that make you sad?
Not that you didn't have it.
I don't give a f***. That's what I'm talking about. That's
okay.
What had happened to me. And I had to elaborate on, well, how do I feel about that? I'm like, well, good.
Good. It's amazing. I'm sure you know this. The fans love you. Like when you showed up at the weigh-ins, that was the story. Nick Diaz is with his brother. When you walked out to the cage with your brother, that was the story. Nick Diaz. They love you and they miss you, right? Every time. Well, Nick Diaz, but I'm sure you know that. I'm sure you sense it to a degree. And so I guess I'll ask like the most simple question possible. Will you ever fight again? Because I think that's what they really want to know.
The way that things go, I get into three or four fights a year, like, regardless whether they're, signed for or not. It's just what, how I wind up nowadays. But I mean, I'm not to try to sound like, what do you think I'm doing? What do you think I'm doing with my time? Doing everything that I can do with my time. And there's always hostility around me, no matter what. So, I mean, this is what are you talking about? This is a bite mark on my arm.
Who gave you that?
Nobody.
Okay.
But I didn't hurt him though. I let him. I was like, look, you bit me because I had a hold of you, and you didn't need to bite me.
Wow. Is that recent?
You didn't need to be punched. You didn't need to be punching on me either. So I deal with like that sometimes, and like, I get away with it, and I didn't do anything wrong because I would never do anything wrong to anybody, because otherwise I would have that kid up. But he's just a kid, and that's not what you do. Like that's what I'm saying. Like when they put me on the poster with that guy, I'm like I have no business in that man's life right now, and he don't have no business in mine. So, you know what I mean? When it wound up, and I think the only reason why he took that, I don't even. I'm coming to see. I'm saying I'm coming to conclusion concept with this conversation that never ends. It's like people walk to me, oh, don't talk to me. I'm famous. So I'm like, what is it that you have to say? Like, we want to talk fighting? Okay, well, let me just start to elaborate while my whole life passes me by. But I'll go ahead and do that because I'm still trying to figure it out for myself before you even walked up. And when ask me, like, well, how? And I'm like, and I go ahead and tell you right then and there. Like, so I'm like, I know y'all don't have time to do that. I'm like, let's talk about, who do, train harder, who put more miles on the road, who put more miles than some weird chair like this, by the way. What the is this? I'm like, I'm sitting here before this thing gets, I'm trying to like move it. What the?
I'll let them know.
No, it's fine. But yeah, there should be like a little recline. Like,
I feel you.
What is this, ESPN? Like, and there's like this thing, this weird chair. I should just get going, like,
get
chill or something. Fuck. That's how it was when I got here. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so I don't want to deal with that though, and I don't need to. But like, my brother asked me to say what I had to say, so I said what I had to say. I'm like, what? I'm like, you, and that's what I'm saying. I said no disrespect, but I'm like, game recognized game. I'm like, you know what you need to do. Like, this ain't no up to no UFC. We've seen that in the past already. And I don't need to do anything more than what I've already done here. Come out here and do the most to, oh no, what the am I gonna say? Hopefully I didn't, use too many F-bombs and act like some thug life sitting here next to Ariel with this, type of way. And me with me, I don't know what, I don't know. It's like, I don't know what to tell you, people. I'm sorry. I'm like, but yeah, all I know is I've got a whole lot of people that feel the same way.
Nick Diaz Army.
I didn't start it.
You didn't start Nick Diaz Army?
Nope.
Who started it?
It just accumulated.
Happened.
It accumulated.
But it seems stronger than ever. They always go out of their way to give you props. You're always saying that you're the best.
All I'm saying is, like, I never wanted to fight. I had to.
Right.
And you need to do what you have to do too. And that's what you should do.
Who are you talking to?
Everybody.
Okay. One time I made the mistake of asking you before a fight a long time ago. I'll never forget it. I asked you, are you excited about this upcoming fight? And you told me to never ask that question again, that you don't get excited for fights.
I'm just doing what I got to do.
No, and I understood where you
I'm
were
a guy
coming
who's
from.
always been out to do what I got to do, you know what I mean? I was worried about my baby brother, so I took care of my baby brother. And, you know, hey, my baby brother, he's a family man now. He takes care of the family. You know what I mean? You're a family man now, you take care of the family. I'm like, you know, and I got that spiel about like, oh, great, your brother got everything you ever wanted. What do you got now? And I'm like, well, that's all I ever wanted. I take care of my baby brother. He be a family man. He take care of the family. Me, bye-bye bird. What do you want from me?
Would you prefer he stop fighting at this point?
Oh, of course. But I'm sure he would prefer me stop fighting too, as he should. But, you know, while it's hot, you know? Like, we as grown-ups nowadays, we don't always tend to consult with each other the way we would have in the short past, in the short time that it was before the past that I was talking about.
Do you wish you were closer?
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, things that I'm not ready for, and I've wondered how, you know, I mean, growing up and all, and like, you know, having like a family situation, like, that's a big deal. I mean, like, I ain't saying nothing new, like, you know, this kid, he's guys having children. I'm like, I'm leaving town. So, you know what I mean? Like, but we're very clear. You know what I mean? We're very clear. We see how clear we are. I go back and deal with what's going on in there. I'm like, yeah, you know, this is what goes on. And it ain't nothing new, but I don't blame nobody. It ain't his fault, ain't nothing new. I'm the one that makes something new. So I gotta come, I'm supposed to come do my job. But, you know, I don't mean to put it on him. I didn't put it on him. I was just like, look, you know, like, you know what I mean? When you want to make moves, like, you consult with your people. And, like, it's just kind of hard when there's a lot of stress, you know, and ups and downs in life. And without jiu-jitsu every day and separation of moving and seeing what's really going on, it's like, you know, it just causes, you know, a little bit of a lack of communication. That's all. It's not a big deal. That's why I said, let this be a lesson here. I'm like, hey, I got the same cuts on my face, you know what I mean? You go to Dr. Frank, he fix all that stuff. You go to Dr. Frank Styles, MD, he fix all that stuff right away. You won't ever get cut again like that. That's an old cut, boom, open up real quick. So you asked me about the thing about the stoppage. Yeah, I said, yeah, it was a good stoppage because it's my brother. But should you stop the fight? No. I'm like this guy's like, I'm going to have to be very cautious and very hesitant before I just jump on in and just do what I normally would do. And I'm like, not only do you know that, but you see, it's not like, and if it is that you're just like, oh, I'm standing over your brother because I want to torture your brother. You trust me, you have nothing against my younger brother because like he didn't do anything or say nothing out of line to anybody and do anything wrong. So why are you going to do the most? He wasn't doing the most. He was doing all he could do. And then they stopped the fight when I heard Tyson Fury got cut real good, like, and they let it go, like bigger than that cut. 12-round boxing fight. Who knows in the last 2 rounds because on the ground? No, who knows the last 2 rounds when he got hit? I don't. Whatever. You know what it is. I mean, maybe that's like the idea because this is the idea. Put this fight together because all I see is dollar signs right now. It's not on me. You want to talk about baptizing my younger brother? That's on you. I never had nothing disrespectful to say, but like you don't talk about baptizing my younger brother. So you're already in a position if you fight with me. You don't talk about baptizing someone's younger brother. That's my baby brother. You don't talk like that to nobody. So, you know, who rides on whose side? Like, and you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you want to say that? You know, you want to do that? You want to walk? That's on you. And I understand you got, you know, who knows, ups and downs in life too. Oh, I can relate to you. That's why I ain't mad at you. But it's like, you know what I mean? If you want to walk, that's on you. But you know what you have to do.
You think you crossed the line?
I think that nobody else has any say in this except for me and the person who's in the rightful position. So, and I'm only coming forward because I've been summoned for the most part.
By who?
Just the whole MMA
The game?
fan base demographic. And my younger brother, because he just told me straight up, like, so I'm like, oh, that's why I'm here. And so,
What did he say to you?
yeah, he just said, like, ain't nobody can get away with this shit, blah, 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 like, it ain't the time for that. I think he was just mad, too, but, maybe he should have talked with me and talked with me then. Maybe he should talk with me before. But I'll tell you what right now, real quick. I'm really glad about this too, so I could get this in, because I never, with my shit races. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, tell you this, tell you what about that. Well, my brother fought Conor McGregor the second time. Like, I was gone. I was dealing with other things. Like, I've been trying to open a new gym in a bigger city for a long time. Just to make it, just to, why not, have like, different types of higher and lower end clientele when it comes to demographics, where you're at, whatever, it's interesting to me. I'm working with different people. I got all kinds of jiu-jitsu, bro. I'm just living in Stockton. I got been taking care of these kids, like, what the hell? You know what I mean? After a while, you realize there's more to life, right? So we got a gym opening right now in Hollywood, right next to a Russian Buddha spa, too, which is really nice, especially if you're somebody that cuts weight all the time. You learn how to kind of, like, relax and let the damn weight fall off you and talk about it and have these conversations that you can't have if you're all, like, crazy. It's time to... And so, that's a nice place, too, especially for people who want to do, like, a little bit of private lesson, group lesson.
Opening next week, right?
We're like
very soon?
What do you call it? I'm not doing no grand opening, but I'm just going to be using this facility until we build a little bit of what's what. And then, maybe we'll set it off and have... but I'm pretty sure I can, do what I want to do with that. And I also... I used to live in Dallas, too. That's what I'm saying. Like, man, like... I'll do something. I'm trying to do one of these gyms in Dallas. Trying to do one of these here. I'm trying to teach jiu-jitsu at least, so I'm not going to be fighting pro. So, well, yeah, of course, my head's in the game. I'm ready to fight, but I want to give back a little bit. I mean, I guess that's all. I feel like I'm not really a taker. I've always been a giver, so I might as well just keep doing what I do best.
It sounds, though, after what he said about baptizing, correct me if...
It's just it's a term you use. Like, it's the way you talk. It's a weird, crazy way you think. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have that in me. Like, but I understand. Like, I've also been more blessed by the public on account of, like, exposure, on account of me having the hardest time ever. And so whatever misunderstanding I've had leading up was on account of just missed time that I had, just out, just being a regular day-to-day type of guy, being a regular person. I was just really worked up. But the one thing that I came to realize was I was never fanatical. I had a job to do and I did it, and I didn't have time to worry about what people think. How people feel about that, but I got to see how they feel about that, and then action, reaction, and then I see through this whole thing, and so, like, it is what it is. It is exactly what it is. And you know, that's the thing when you're an MMA fighter, you're like, oh my God, man, what do I do? I get to like people are asking me nowadays. I'm like, they've always been asking me though. Is what I realized. You know, it's just the other aspects of life that I missed out on. Kind of, you know, it left me a little insecure with what the going on around me. So I had to go and like, you know, separate myself a little bit from this fight game until I seen what's what. But that has nothing to do with why I wasn't fighting. I wasn't fighting because, for one, anybody who I could have picked a fight with, this is not even morally and ethically makes sense for anybody. I don't like you for that. If I'm looking in at me and you do that, I'm like, why? Okay, oh, you got to feed your family? I'm like, well, I fed mine, you know? And that's just how I feel about that. And that's all I have to say about that. And I think, you know, I feel like that covers a lot.
The irony is, though, that you were suspended, you know, for 5 years, and that suspension, that 5 years is coming up in 2020, and
yeah.
Everyone was so mad. You know, people spoke up. They reduced it to 18 months.
I don't like to raise a pity party, but my whole career has been a loss. Like every fight I won, every fight I lost, like, yeah, maybe I made the money, but I never got to be like cool, man.
What do you mean?
You know,
people love you.
I never, you know what I mean? Like if you're a fighter, but like I was never out to like, you know, drive nice cars unless I could afford them. I wasn't gonna rent them.
Are you happy, Nick? Are you happy in life? Is life good?
No. My brother just got kicked in his face, and I've been having a really hard week. And I could fight. I mean, I could fight. So.
When would you like to fight?
You know, what I would have liked to done was the New York Marathon is what I would have liked to done.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I would like to do. But all this my brother fight stuff has been kind of like, you know, leaving me out of my zone. But meanwhile, like I got this gym opening up, right, real quick in LA, and I like that. You know, I'm glad to have made that move. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when you fight that much, it's really, sometimes it becomes the glue. Or sometimes that becomes the glue that keeps you in relationships, and those relationships are the glue that keeps you grounded where you're at. You know what I mean? And that's okay, you know, because I learned one day, I'm like, all right, well, sometimes it's like, everybody's like, damn, you need to cut your circle shorter, you need to cut your circle shorter. You always got all these, you know. And I'm like, okay, well, after a while I found, you know, in some ways, you know, he who travels with, alone travels faster. Who travels with, you know, you learn this when you're by yourself a lot. But, you know, he who travels with others travels further. And as you can see, like, you know, I have others. You know what I mean? I'm like, where are your mother others? What did you do? You know what I mean? Like, and that goes for everybody. But I'm definitely the most decorated with others.
Do you ever sit back and watch your old fights?
Makes sense too. You know, I never got to be one thing, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Always been like a piece of this or a piece of that, some of this. I could vibe here, there. You know what I mean? Hardest time was with you.
What do you mean?
Well, not you, but like you in general. Just like, not even like, just like a, you know, a tailor-made version of yourself. But that's okay. But yeah, that's why I got started fighting. I don't have any animosity or anything against any of that, but I got started fighting because I wasn't cutting it in school. You know what I mean? I was no prom date to be had. You know what I mean? Like just stupid shit. You know what I mean? That matters big to people, and that's why I'm not telling, you know, I'm not sitting here saying, hey kids, drop out of school. You know, you know what I mean? Be a fighter, like, please, no. Like, by all means, no. If anything, I tell you, don't fight. I've been saying that, like, from the beginning.
Yep.
But I'm like, but if you are, if you're, you know, I'm like, then do it like this. You know? This is how you do it. I'm like, trust me, I've been there. So,
Do you have a relationship with Caesar?
absolutely.
How's that?
It's just a little far and few between right now because, you know, it's just a lifestyle right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, you know, living that, I'm not on those hours. I'm not doing those things. And it's safer for me to stay away from people that are, and it's safer for them too. When I have a fight, if I'm training in a fight camp and I'm like, you know, around those people, it's not very safe for me unless, like, you know, my head's in the game at this day and age. I know how to stay healthy. Like, all the fights I've done throughout the day and everything that I've invested in as far as longevity, it takes on a whole new meaning and makes all sorts of different sense nowadays at this day and age. And like I was saying, like, right, like, as far as I'm concerned, like, I just turned 30. I'm like, next year I'm gonna feel old as a number. You know what I mean? I'm gonna feel old as a number. And I've always had that in my head, like, right about that age, you're gonna feel old as a number. So I'm like, I'm definitely not there yet. And even when I hit old as a number, I'm like, if anybody, like, I'm definitely way more ready than you to go ahead and deal with what I gotta do. And there's nothing really more to say about it, you know what I mean? Like, I did everything right. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, I don't go home and cry myself to sleep, though. I'm like, but I know at this point in time, like, anybody takes a fight with me, I know I'm not going to be the one going home and crying myself to sleep after practice. You know, I've worked that hard to where I don't have to, like, you know, I'm like, at the end of the day, you have a good night. It's like, okay, well, you have a good night. I had a bad night, but I'm like, I'm not gonna waste my time like being worked up about having a fight.
You don't do these often, so I just want to ask, like, is there anything that you want the public to know?
Probably, but I'm not gonna come up with it. You know, I like to make a long story short, but I mean, I can never do that as it's been in the past, and you know, I don't know. Oh, you know, he goes on tangents, and I'm like, no, I explained to you exactly what the is going on. So it's on you, folks. You know, it's on you, Dana. It's on you, UFC. That's on them. It's in your hands now. Cowboy Stadium. What? Like what? Oh, go fight and then what? Okay, so like, you know, you guys suspend me for 5 years and all this like crazy weird inner conspiracy type of weird happens all the time.
And so if the UFC wants to contact you, how do they contact you? Do you want them to come to you directly?
Yeah, that'll happen, no problem.
All right.
I'm done saying.
Nick, I appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And we'll see you soon, hopefully. But I wish you the best.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this.
Hello, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani. I just came here to thank you for watching our ESPN YouTube channel. It's the best. You know what else is the best? The ESPN app. You can get highlights, analysis, all that stuff and more. And if you want premium content and live streaming sports, there's only one place for all of that. It's ESPN Plus.